already said I already know some of it, because like I've already been on Twitter and Johnny told me about it yesterday and you guys have told me about it yesterday. I know that all of us have trust issues when it comes to 𝗲𝗏, and we're all very salty about the fact that to this day he never really actually apologized for anything. But don't talk shit. 𝗲𝗏 is just a dude who's doing his job and has been doing it for years. He's done some good things and then he fucked us over. And then he did some more good things. I'm just not a fan of the fact that they only show 𝗲𝗏 on screen every single time they need to talk about this event. I miss the girl in the vids. Yes, yes, the girlie was so cute, I agree. Yeah. And start.
Hey everyone.
Hi,
I'm
𝗲𝗏.
𝗨𝗨𝙗𝙾, lead
Yes.
producer of gameplay on League. You might remember me from all those champion roadmaps, but today, for reasons I can't even fathom, they put me in front of a camera again to talk about all of League this time. So buckle up as I dive into some of the champions we have in development. After that, I'm going to pass the metaphorical mic over to риotgames, who is going to talk to you about the recent durability update as well as our plans for preseason. So before we get into the new champions coming up this year, let's take a quick look back at the champions we've released in 2022 so far. First we had the speedy ADC 𝗲𝗍, then the girl boss Renata Glass.
Mommy.
After that, the Void Empress herself, 𝗵𝗱𝗱.
Mommy.
And then most recently, the joyful 𝗲𝗏.
Mommy. Just
And
mommy.
just around the corner, we have the 𝗬𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗔 development has been a long journey, especially since he's been the first VGU that we've done that's had an ultimate skin. We appreciate you all being patient with us on this one, and hopefully the wait has been worth it.
No complaints whatsoever.
So in addition to the new champions we've released this year, we've also been shipping a lot of mid-scope updates to various champions, including Janna, Ahri, Swain, Taliyah, Olaf, and recently Sivir.
Right.
Because we slowed down the release of new champions, we've had a bit more time to ship smaller updates to champions on the roster that have fallen behind the pack. So the goal of mid-scope updates isn't to reimagine a champion's visuals, theme, or gameplay. That's reserved for VGUs. Instead, we want to freshen up the champions that aren't living up to the expectations of the players who love them.
Okay.
We try to strengthen their fantasy even more, rather than reinvent it. So for Swain, we pushed his fantasy of an unkillable frontline mage to the max. And for Ahri, we focused on her fantasy of a mobile mage, rather than the assassin she had become. We saw really great responses to these projects, as well as healthy play rate spikes after their release. Given all of this, we want to keep pursuing mid-scope updates, and we already have a few champions we're exploring, including Neeko and Syndra.
Okay, hear me out. As a Swain main, I'm not a huge fan of the change that they have made for him regarding his ultimate and his passive. So like before, when Swain would play with other champions who would do CC, you could pull other champions. So that was pretty fucking neat, and it had a really good flow when it came to combos. And also when it came to his ultimate, it wasn't a toggle, so you could chase down champions, and even if they get out of your ultimate, you could still pull them in. Now, if you're like, pop your ultimate, and the Akali kind of like got out of it for like a nanosecond, your ultimate is gone. So it's kind of fucking sucks. And I hate it, because now my gameplay with Swain is a lot different and not in a good way. So I'm not a fan with the change that they have done with Swain, and I'm really worried about the change that we're going to do to Neeko, because Neeko is also one of my mains. I feel at this point they're doing all these changes because people are not playing them enough, therefore they're making these changes so other people would pick them up. But then again, I don't see how it is necessary for these champions when you already have like over 150 champions? Obviously, not every champion is going to be super popular. Pushing all of them into popularity is not going to do anything. If you push certain champions into popularity, other champions are going to be neglected. And then what? Are you going to change those as well to push them forward? Are we going to change every single champion because now their popularity dropped? No. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of this idea at all. I don't want them to change Nico. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. New champions.
So now let's talk about some projects I've been super excited to share with you. So later this year, we have a new top lane tank hailing from 𝗨𝗪𝙗, who I briefly mentioned in the last champion roadmap. This new champion will introduce a part of 𝗨𝗪𝙗 that we haven't explored yet. The city of 𝗵𝗍𝗪. Now, 𝗵𝗍𝗪 is an oasis city-state in the southern outskirts of the desert, and unlike the rest of 𝗨𝗪𝙗, they don't bow to 𝗵𝗍𝗪. Situated on one of the only water sources for
the
miles,
men of Runeterra
the people
have
of
been
𝗵𝗍𝗪 had to
ditching
compete
shirts.
with giant monsters.
We
just
dive into
trying to
this
stay
later,
hydrated.
latest
It
fashion
was a hard-fought struggle, but they
tonight at
eventually
8.
claimed the oasis.
So like, it's funny. Okay, it's funny, but then at the same time, it's tragic because like since 2016, I think since 𝗵𝗪𝙧 release, every single champion that was released was shirtless. And like, it's an ongoing joke now, kind of like how 𝗵𝗪𝙧 is pretty much a failure in the world of Runeterra. So like, do something about it. Fix it! I don't mind 𝗬𝗪 being shirtless, because it's like a big, burly, buff man who's also like part of the Freljords, and like the Freljords and all of their men are also like pretty much all shirtless because they're all like iceborn, even though the cold does bother them, but not as much as others. So like, I get it. Totally get it. But like, with every single new champion that comes out, it's okay to give them a shirt. Like, it's totally fine to give him like a really cool fucking trench coat, or like a jacket, or I don't know, a tank top, anything. Don't make jokes about it. Just fix it. Up next,
Now,
what can
500
200
years
years
later,
of experience
this new
do for
champion
your
leads the warriors of
company,
𝗵𝗍𝗪
and
hunt
how
those
do
same
you
monsters,
get it?
using the rare resources they
𝗵𝗪𝙧
gain to build
breaks
their
down
infrastructure and
the
weapons.
pros and cons.
He actually fought one of the largest monsters the desert has ever known, creating his unique 𝗵𝗪𝙧 out of
Oh,
its
that's a
rare
heat. Okay.
regenerating hide. 𝗵𝗪𝙧s are huge, blunt weapons that can be used defensively, but at any moment, he can shatter them, revealing carefully crafted blades, capable of tearing through any foe in seconds. Soon after, the hide will regenerate back to its blunt form, so he can like bludgeon the crap out of you. It's honestly quite impressive to see. But you don't have to take my word for it. The entire city-state is basically permanently impressed by him. I mean, he's K'Sante, the pride of 𝗵𝗍𝗪. You don't get that title for nothing.
Okay.
So after K'Sante, we will be releasing the highly anticipated Aurelion Sol CGU. To remind everybody, a CGU, or Comprehensive Gameplay Update, is a new type of update we are testing out on Aurelion Sol.
Okay.
So the goal is to completely reimagine 𝗍𝗪𝙯's gameplay without changing his visuals or narrative at all.
Right.
Since let's be honest, those aspects of Aurelion Sol are still amazing, even by today's standards. But I know what you're thinking. Less talking, Mr. Reeve, more action. And by action, we mean videos. Okay, fine. Twist my arm a little bit more, will you? Now keep in mind, the visuals are still a work in progress. One of the goals was to enhance his dragon theme. And what do dragons do? Well, they breathe fire, of course. 𝗍𝗪𝙯's new Q allows him to breathe fire for as long as he has mana to do it.
Wait, that's
But let's
sick.
not forget the other thing dragons do, fly. His new W allows him to take to the skies.
Oh, that's
But
sick.
this time, he doesn't have to walk in a straight line for like ever. He can now fly with the push of a button. But really, let's be honest. He's a dragon. And if there's one thing more iconic than either flying or breathing fire, it's flying while breathing fire, which you can do by combining his Q and W.
Oh, damn.
We did it. So after
That's
Aurelion
sick.
Sol, we have a champion I've been literally dying to talk to you about. One of the things the League community
Wait, what about his
hounds me
ENR?
about constantly is wanting to see more Darkin champions. Darkin fans
What
are
about
like,
his
throw me
ENR?
a frickin' bone here. And believe you me, I'm right there with you, barking for some Darkin. Then one night, at around 2:34 a.m., I woke up in a fever sweat, and at that moment it hit me. I'm on the champions team. If I want more Darkin, I can just talk to the team about it. And gosh dang it, I did just that. And the team was like, heck yeah, we want more Darkin as well. We love Darkin. So yeah, long story short, we're making a new Darkin assassin. So I know what you're gonna ask next. What's the weapon? Each Darkin is trapped in some super awesome weaponry. Please tell us what it is, we must know. And while I love watching you all squirm beneath my intricate yet vague champion roadmap teasers, I'm not gonna be that cruel today. The weapons are like the coolest part about Darkin after all. So this one was actually entrapped in a dagger, which is now a Darkin dagger, of course, because that's how that works. And here's what it looks like. Ooh, so edgy, so dark. And as to who or what got a hold of these daggers, well, you'll just have to wait and find out.
So the Dark Assassin is going to be supposedly a dog, because like barking for some Darkin and throwing a bone. We were promised a monster champ, and you can never go wrong with dogs. Everyone likes dogs. Like, how can you not like a dog? And then like throughout the entire time, you could be like, oh my god, he's such a good boy. He's such a good boy, right? I'd love to see a hyena. Hyena with daggers? Bruh, that would be so sick. Imagine a fucking hyena with daggers. So it would make a sense if it was a ॿ𝗀𝘀cie. When it comes to ascension, it's either you ascend and like become a Nasus or Azir or Renekton, or it gets fucked up in the process because you're not truly worthy enough to be an ascendant, so you basically become a ॿ𝗀𝘀cie, and or you completely like lose yourself and like you were an ascendant and then you lose yourself and become a Darkin, because all the Darkins that we know nowadays were really respectful warriors at the time. Like they were true amazing warriors, and they became Darkin because of how they basically lost Azir and lost their purpose to fight. So they were so fucking depressed that they turned into Darkin. I had a full video on that on my I think it was the 𝗀𝙀𝙀 cinematic. I talked about Darkins in the 𝗀𝙀𝙀 cinematic because there was a Darkin that we're talking about there. I hoped that that was going to be a female Darkin though, because it's supposed to be like, we have a Darkin that's supposed to be Varys' sister, so I hope that we will get Varys' sister. But from how it sounds, I don't think it's going to be a sister. I really hope this is not going to be a Yuumi situation. And we're actually going to have like a really badass hyena looking motherfucker. So yeah, let's just hope for the best. Let's just hope for the best. I have a strong feeling that we won't be able to simp that Darkin.
Another thing a lot of people have been asking to see progress on is the Ahri update that we announced at season start.
Right.
Well, the ASU team has been hard at work and is ready to share some art, like the final composition seen here. The base version is close to complete, and the team is super excited to show you some of the progress on how she's looking in-game.
Amazing.
Look at all those
Now
sweet
she looks
polygons.
at Wild Rift.
And here's a sneak peek of her updated VFX. Ahri still has a ton of skins that also need to be updated.
Yeah, so it's like
so
Wild
she
Rift.
still needs a little more time in the Foxfire oven before we can get her in your hands. But you can expect to see her sometime early next year. So that's about it for champion news. Though I will leave you with one small thing. On top of wanting a new Darkin, we've seen a lot of players asking us to expand on 𝗳𝗀𝘀. We've also heard you asking for us to make a male enchanter. Well, I say, why not both?
Nice.
I'm happy to say we have right now, in very early development, a new male enchanter from 𝗳𝗀𝘀. The new champion will show a very different side to 𝗳𝗀𝘀, far from the lavish palaces Qiyana grew up in. So take a look at this art teaser that the team working on him put together. Oh my god, they're so adorable. Well, that's enough cuteness for now. So as promised, let's hear from riotgames on the champion durability update and preseason.
Like, hear me out. You don't need to do that. You really don't need to act the to act if you don't really feel that way. Like, I know that you're reading from a prompt, but like, the fake cough with the stuff, like, whatever.
Hey everyone, I'm 𝗵𝗨𝙧𝙞𝙪𝙨, aka
Oh my God,
𝗵𝗨𝙧𝙀,
Matthew, your face
lead
is
game
so
designer on the
gorgeous.
Summoners
What the
Rift team.
fuck?
We work on things like balancing the game, in-game systems like the durability
His
update.
face
and
is so
in Preseason.
symmetrical.
I've got a few things to cover today, so let's jump right into it. A few patches ago, we launched the champion durability update. Our goal was to increase the durability and reduce the damage and healing of every champion in League. We've been closely monitoring the results, and after some targeted adjustments, we're really happy with where the update landed. A lot of you have mentioned how much you like the update, and that it feels good to have fights last longer with more chances for skill expression. And we're glad that it helped make League feel fresher. That said, we don't have plans to make changes of this size outside of Preseason in the future, unless it's really necessary. What we don't want is for huge changes like this to disrupt League's competitive integrity, especially in the middle of the season.
He's got this like unique model face. Like there's like regular models and then there's like the unique models that like you usually take for runways and editorial photo shoots. I want to do his makeup. Sorry.
Speaking of which,
my stylist
let's
is
talk
coming
about our
out.
plans for Preseason.
Yes, of course. League. Yeah, we're talking about Preseason here.
Similar to last year, we're making more targeted changes to various systems.
Okay.
Our multi-year goal is to bring everything in League up to modern standards before doing updates on the scale of Runes Reforged, Elemental Rift, or the item update again. So for this preseason, we're updating systems including communication and vision, making the jungle more exciting and accessible, and bringing back a familiar foe.
Oh? What are we doing?
Our communication system is showing its age, especially in comparison to some of our other games. So we're giving it some much needed attention with new features that'll make it easier to communicate with your team.
Wild Rift did an amazing job with that, but like completely removing chat. Wild Rift completely removed the chat. You can't talk. You just can't. You can't type to one another. You can't tilt. All you have to do is fucking ping. Just ping. No need to talk. No need to chat. You have an option to voice chat with your team, but you're not doing that. So like, I am very, 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 very hopeful that we're just going to completely remove the chat forever.
And walk away with the win. To that, we're expanding our in-game ping system to allow for better communication with your team.
Okay.
The current system only lets you share very basic communications.
Right.
And while we appreciate your ingenuity with the limited pings you have, we wanted to give you more opportunity for clearer communication.
For more
The updated
spamming?
pings will include everything you already know and love, plus expanded vision options and a call to engage.
Nice!
We're also
Perfect.
thinking about ways to emphasize pings with
Perfect.
teammates, plan macro strategy for objectives, and keep track of where pings are on the map,
So like Wild
even if
Rift.
they're off your screen. In addition to the changes to communication, we're making some small improvements to the vision system, as it's a bit outdated. It's not super clear that you can swap vision trinkets, and it's definitely not clear how you can best utilize them. To that, we're exploring ways to make vision trinkets more intuitive. You'll be able to see how many wards you have on the map, and preview where they'll go when placing them in walls. Another focus this year is the jungle. We know it's often a highly stressful role where you need heaps of knowledge to be baseline proficient. There's a lot riding on junglers, as they're often the backbone of the team's strategy, while sometimes getting unjustly flamed. So we're looking to make some changes to make jungling more intuitive, and to help alleviate some of its more painful parts. Our first change is improving buff sharing. Donating buffs to your laners is an important part of being a jungler, but it feels bad to lose the gold, experience, and bonuses they provide.
Yes.
We're exploring a bunch of things to make this more painless to junglers, like buffs leaving behind a little friend that also has a buff, and a few other potential directions.
Oh?
We're also looking at ways of improving jungle camp patience rules. The goal of this change is to make it so you don't get overly punished by accidentally pulling camps too far.
Thank you.
You shouldn't have to know exactly what pixel to stand on to do red buff and raptors at the same time without one resetting. So we're making changes that will make it less punishing when that happens. We know some junglers like to hyper-optimize their clears, and we want that knowledge to be rewarded. We'll still keep unique, optimal clears for different champions, like Kayn starting raptors and 𝗨𝗀𝙧𝙀𝙀 doing whatever it is he does. All this said,
Not the 𝗨𝗀𝙧𝙀𝙀 slander, dude! Just update him!
we're not trying to make mastering jungle easier, but we do want to make it easier to start jungling. We still want you to be rewarded for taking the time to master your role and champions. There are some other improvements we're exploring for the jungle, but it's still too early to share more, so we'll check back in later.
I like it. I like this. I like this a lot. Being able to ping your teammates and like completely because as someone who doesn't ever have chat on, like I have completely removed it from like ENA. I think it's only open for me on NA, but on EU, NE and EU West, like I completely removed it. There is literally no point in having it there because all they do is just spam slurs. That's all you get there. Like you can't really communicate with your team. So being able to like ping shit, like harass this enemy team so like the jungler will come in and help you out, and or like push this fucking lane because in lower elo people don't understand the concept of pushing the fucking lane and getting a fucking tower. It's amazing. I love it. I love it. I wanted this. I really wanted this. This is what you have in Wild Rift, and that's why it's so easy to carry games in Wild Rift. Simply because like everyone is doing what they're supposed to be doing based on communication. It's a lot hard to communicate there because like you need to like slide your finger while trying to do it. But here you'll be able to easily do it with your mouse and or even like put it on some key on your keyboard. So I think it's an amazing idea. Regarding the jungle buff, I don't think it's going to be like an Ivern. I don't think they're gonna steal Ivern's fucking passive because that's Ivern's entire thing. But maybe like give him a little something on the side to give him like the extra gold, kind of like with Pyke. So like he will actually, like the jungler will actually give you, will get something out of it, and or you will get something out of it. Because in majority of the situation, like I don't remember when was the last time when a jungler let me take a blue buff. And I play enchanters and like mages. So it's nice that there will be an option to be able to receive a blue buff without the jungler be salty about it. I've never seen any MOBA that has a decent tutorial. Just the initial, this is called the tower type hand holding. This is your how to press your button. Well, no. First of all, Wild Rift has an amazing tutorial. Because, like, again, I started playing Wild Rift about 2.5 weeks ago. It forces you to go through the tutorial to be able to understand all the basics and teach you everything that you need before throwing you into a game. And same goes to League. If you will now open up a new account, it has a great tutorial. Like, obviously, it's not going to teach you everything. It's not going to teach you, like, Wild Rift levels of, like, card management. But it is going to give you majority of the basics that you need. The rest you'll obviously have to learn on your own. But then everything else is pretty much intuitive. So, it's not that complicated.
The final preseason change we want to talk about today is the long-awaited return of everyone's favorite Drake, the Chemtech Drake. While we're bringing Chemtech Drake back from the dead, she won't bring you back from the dead anymore.
Okay, good.
Instead, the new and improved Chemtech Soul grants more damage and damage reduction when you're low health.
Oh,
and when the Chemtech
neat.
Drake takes over the rift, the plants on the map mutate and become empowered.
Oh!
For example, Scry's Bloom will grant movement speed when moving towards revealed enemies, and Blast Cone will take you further than ever before. Like
Oh shit! Wait, that's sick!
We still have other plans for preseason, including the usual updates and tweaks to items and runes. And we'll share more information about our plans for these, and everything we
that's gonna be
discussed today
fun,
as we
dude.
get close to preseason.
That's fun. I love it.
That's all I have today. Thanks for watching, and let us know what you think about everything you heard. I'll hand things back to Reeve to say goodbye.
Honestly, I literally have no issue with anything that has been shared so far. Like, no issues at all. I'm happy.
Thanks, Roxanne. So as you can see, we have a lot of exciting things in development. And as always, I've had a blast finally sharing all this cool stuff the team has been working on with all of you. Wait. Uh-huh.
Oh my god, not this again.
Yeah? So I'm hearing that there is one last thing we forgot to show you all.
Yes.
You all remember the skin line you voted for at the beginning of the year, right? I think it was the Gothic skin line revamp.
Yes!
Well, our skins team has been hard at work reimagining
I've seen
that
it on
skin
Twitter.
line.
I've already seen it on Twitter.
And they really want to share a bit of it with you now.
It looks so good.
So it's time for me to say goodbye. Bye. And time for all of you to see some sweet concept art for the new Fright Night skins.
Love it. Oh my god. Yes. Destroy me. All of you. Oh my god. Team Barton. Like, I am obsessed with this entire skin line. Obsessed. Obsessed! It's like all of my kinks combined. No, but seriously, like, this is Team Burton meets League of Legends and creating the best fucking characters. Like, I mean, look at Draven. Look at Draven. It's like, he's got the mask, he's got the thigh straps, he's got the thighs in general, and a leather jacket. Okay, I'm a happy camper. Okay, then we have fucking mommy in a suit with like blue hair and scars. Obviously, I would expect her to look more of her age because she kinda looks like Katarina in here. Like, I hope that this is just like, you know, for the concept art, but they're gonna add the age to her face because we like her for being an actual adult mommy and not a Katarina lookalike, okay? I love him. I fucking love him. It kind of looks like they ripped off Fiddlesticks's head and put it on Orgod, but it also gives Oogie Boogie. And then we have this. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. I love the pointy, spiky ears. I like the dark clip. I like the claws, the teeths. I love it. I love it. Everything about it is just beautiful. And then obviously Annie and Tibbers, which is so fucking perfect. Like, I am obsessed. She kind of looks like the one little girl from Don't Starve. But I love everything about this.